evening, everybody. Welcome to a Friday night edition of the Glen Kuiper Show. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it as always. It's our third show this week, but tonight it's all Giants. We got a lot to cover. We got a great guest, somebody I look forward to talking Giants baseball with. He's been on before, and we're also streaming on his podcast, so we'll bring our special guest in just a little bit. You know the drill. We like to get you guys involved, get your questions in, get your comments in the comment section. And like I said, lots of Giants talk tonight. So it's going to be fun. But before we get going, let's check in with our sponsors, starting with Tilden Properties. By investing in California's multifamily real estate with Tilden Properties, you'll see quarterly dividends and equity buildup in the real estate market. They're area-based and family-owned. Tilden Properties has been building investment wealth for their clients since 2008. Call them at 925-209-8558. Show is also brought to you by the good folks at Partners Capital, a wealth management firm providing financial strategies for elite performance and lasting peace of mind. With experience guiding professional athletes and the families next door, Partners Capital delivers thoughtful planning, steady guidance, and a clear path forward. Partners Capital, your partner for a stronger financial future. And we're also brought to you by the Carrick Real Estate Team. They have been helping families buy and sell homes across the Bay Area with a legacy of client-first service dating way back to 1978. And whether in the market to buy or sell, trust the Carrick Real Estate Team to guide you home. Call them at 925-548-4132. We're also brought to you by Area Rug Cleaning Direct, a subsidiary of Gamble's Flooring. If your area rug needs professional cleaning or repair, Area Rug Cleaning Direct will pick up and return your area rug looking brand new within 5 business days. Call Area Rug Cleaning Direct at 925-933-9999 for all your area rug needs. All right, thanks to my great sponsors. We appreciate them as always. But it's time now to talk some Giants baseball. Let's bring in our guest. His name is Cody Blue. Giants fans know him. He's the host of the Even Year Dynasty podcast. His show is streaming as well tonight. So what do we call that day when both are on this? When the show's on both shows, that's a collaboration, right, Cody?
Yes.
All right. Okay. See, I'm still working on the YouTube lingo.
Yeah.
So we're doing a collab tonight. But Cody does a great job. It's one of the better Giants podcasts out there. He's not crazy. He's not losing his mind over what's happening and what's not happening. He's well thought out. And that's why I like him, Cody. So, Cody, how are you, buddy?
I'm great. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me again. It's been a while. We did it at the end of last season, but look forward to this.
Well, we're going to do it more. And listen, we're 5 weeks away from spring training. Believe it or not, everything seems to be a little earlier this year. Certain parts of the year, I start working on certain things. What are you working on when the calendar flips into 2026 and spring training's right around the corner?
Yeah, I like to just keep an eye on what the roster's kind of looking like. They're filling some spots. Obviously, there's some holes we'd all love to see them address. I'm usually taking a little bit of a deep dive. I've been doing some prospect breakdowns. International signing day is in about 6 days, so going to do a big Luis Hernandez one, as knock on wood, as long as everything goes through smooth there. To have a lot of prospect interviews been going on during the off season, but yeah, once spring training kicks off, it's pretty much just full go on the Giants.
Do you go down there, Cody? Do you get to Arizona?
I want to go one of these years. It's been a while.
You have. Yeah. I mean, you have to go. You'd be in hog heaven, because I know you are on top of the Giants minor league system, and we're going to get to that in the second part of our show. But you need to be there, and you need to be walking around Papago Park, the new minor league complex, with 4 or 5 games going on, and all these guys that you talk about are out on these fields playing. I mean, you would be in hog heaven. You got to get down there.
Yeah, absolutely. Me and the guys are planning to try. We're not going to be able to do spring training, but I think the Giants are going to be playing in Arizona in May. We're hoping to try and sneak down there for 3 or 4 days, and we're going to try and catch a game at Chase Field, and then also hit Papago, because the complex league will have started off right about that time.
Oh, that's perfect. So, okay, so let's get this off season talk going. We'll get to the minor leagues in just a little bit, but so far, 2 starters, 2 relievers. Fans are anxious. They're uneasy. Some are angry. What do you think so far? I mean, where are you at here? Again, you're a pretty calming influence. I get where the fans are coming from a little bit, but I don't know that I have quite as much concern as other people. What do you think about what we've seen so far?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get the frustration. Of course, especially when early in the offseason, and this is I think early in the offseason they made some comments of, we think we're right there. And I think when you hear those comments, a lot of people want to see, okay, let's be aggressors and let's try to upgrade the roster. And, if we think we're this close, let's make moves to show that we're serious about this. And, you know, I I would love to see a little more out of the team. I would have, I think, like a lot of people, we would have loved to seen like a front end starter get added to the mix or something like that. Um, but it's kind of like we were talking earlier. Like they clearly have a belief in these young pitchers in particular, and it's gonna, whether it works out or not, it's a risky strategy for sure. But there is projectable upside with these guys where if it works, they could look really smart at the end of the day. If it doesn't, it could potentially derail the season. So it's a bit of a risk.
Yeah, I
Kind of
think
where I'm at.
my theory on this thing, and I try to think, I have opinions on it, but I also try to think how the organization is looking at this, and they know more about their people, their players, their minor leaguers, their young players than any of us do. But I said this on the show last week, Cody. I am convinced that Buster and his guys have confidence in the group of young starters. I'm not talking about the 5 guys in the rotation because we all know who they are, right? It's that second group that's waiting in AAA. And we've been talking about these guys for a while. Cody, we all know the names. It's Birdsong, it's Wizenhunt, it's Tidwell, it's McDonald, it's Tang, we've talked about them all. Seymour, Keaton Wynn, whatever. I'm convinced that I think the Giants feel like, listen, if we're going to be the Giants the way we want this organization to be, the way we were when we were winning 3 championships, that we need, specifically in the pitching, we need some of our young guys to establish themselves and be high quality starters. Now, we don't know if this group has that. Maybe they do. Maybe the Giants think a couple of them do. But I'm convinced that I think they're looking at this like, listen, we can't go out and sign 3, 4 free agent pitchers or even 2 pitchers, and then the next year we got to do it again. We have to develop these youngsters. And I think they feel like where they're at right now, that a couple of these guys have a chance to be quality big league starters. We don't know who it is, but we're going to find out soon. What do you think about that? Are you buying my theory on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think by only signing, Tyler Malley to a 1-year deal and
Exactly.
Adrian Hauser to a 2-year deal, and you combine those two with Landon Roop, who's never thrown more than 110 innings in a season, and you're pretty much assuredly going to need, I don't know, 20 to 30 starts out of your young guys behind them. And now these 4 guys, 5 guys are going to have chances to kind of jockey for position on, okay, who's going to earn that first shot. So you're going to set up competition right there, right out the gate. And I definitely think they have a belief in those guys. And I think they believe at least 1 or 2 can step up. But it's like we were saying, it's just risky. You wish they had a little more, a little more stability, I think, maybe in the rotation you would want. And then these guys to be just kind of like, be able to be eased into it a little more. But somebody's going to get kind of thrown into the fire at some point this season. You have to think maybe even 2 of them or more. So I'm really high on a handful of these guys. I think they're is a lot of projectable upside with them. Especially a guy like Birdsong, who at times has flashed the ability to be, where you can see that potential where maybe this guy's a number 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the command issues creep in and you wonder, okay, is this guy going to stick at all? It's just, he's young. I'm not that I'm out on him at all, but it's just, you see kind of both sides of that, and you can see how it can derail a season, and you can see how it can really give you this massive boost where it accelerates your timeline. And one other thing I'll say about the young pitchers and kind of your theory and your point here is, I guess the question we have to always ask fans is, do we want to just push our chips in to try and win for a year or two? Or do we want to try and build a sustainable winner that can win for 10 years, and give themselves a shot every year? And if you want that, you've got to develop young players.
Yeah.
Whether that's pitchers, position players, wherever, you need young, cheap, controllable talent
on
your roster.
And the position players, there's not as many there, and there's not as many openings, I think, is the way I like. You got Ramos, he's one of your guys. Bailey's one of your guys. Schmidt, we're not sure about Schmidt yet. But these pitchers that we're talking about, and listen, I'm not sitting here saying, hey, they're all going to be Cy Young winners, but you have to find out what you got. And they're ready. They've all pitched at AAA. They've all pitched in the big leagues. So they're right there. Most of them are probably ready to pitch at the big league level. And I just feel like the best thing that could happen to the organization, Cody, is to have this young pitching staff with your own guys taking you to the next level. Are they ready to do that? Yeah. We don't know, but that's why you have Robbie Ray, and that's why you have Maley, and that's why you have Hauser. But if 2 or 3 of these guys from this group could become the real deal in the rotation with Webb and with Root, I think that would be the best case scenario for the organization.
Yeah, I agree, especially because Robbie Ray and Malley are on expiring deals after this season. So if 2 in particular,
let's have 2 guys ready, but somebody's got to be ready. We can sit here and talk about it. So of these guys that we're talking, and again, everybody knows the list, Wizenhunt and the Birdsong thing. Which one of these guys, if you had to if you were in Vegas and you had to put a bet down, which 2 of this group do you think has the best chance to grab a spot in the rotation and stick? I'm not talking about this year. I'm talking about being a guy. Trevor McDonald, a lot of people are starting to talk about him as maybe a sleeper, but what do you think? I mean, who do you like best of this group of kids?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm big on upside and potential. I mean, obviously we need to see production out of these guys too, but when I look at them, the 2 that I think have the chance to be the best of that group, just from a stuff standpoint, would be Tidwell and Birdsong. I think those guys have the best pitch mixes of the group. Now the funniest thing is I think McDonald might have the highest floor of all those guys.
Really?
He's a strike thrower. He got beat up in the PCL, but who doesn't?
He made 26 starts. He went out there every 5th day, which doing that in the PCL, listen, you're going to get knocked around, but you can learn a lot, and you can learn how to pitch if you take the ball every 5th day in the PCL. And he did last year.
Yeah, and he did. And he ate up a good amount of innings. Now you could see it's almost that typical sinker baller with him. You'd see these games where he give up 8 runs, 9 runs, and it's the PCL at elevation. And it's like, okay, that sinker's not going to play the same when he's making, 10, 12 starts in the equivalent of Coors Field in some of these yards. So I think he could be a safe, kind of a safer back end type starter. But I'm big on trying to find that upside. And to me, now when I look at a guy like Tidwell, his fastball, he throws it hard, but the shape isn't the greatest. So he might need some work on that. But the slider and sweeper that he throws are both just nasty. They could definitely play right now, I think, at the major league level. I do wonder if he may end up, if it doesn't work as a starter, I have a lot of confidence in him as a leverage relief option. So I do think you have some flexibility with a few of these guys too. So I think they're going to be productive guys in the majors at some point this season. I'm just curious what the roles are going to be for many of them.
Well, listen, I mean, and if a couple of those guys could pitch out of the bullpen, that's great. See, I think Tang, to me, I don't know that he's a starter. I think, and he got knocked around last year quite a bit, but I think he could help in the bullpen. And I say that because he has a strikeout pitch, the slider.
Yeah.
It's a good one. It's tight. But when he goes back out there 2-3 innings, he tends to get knocked around. And again, who knows? I'm not a pitching coach, but I think if you have a pitch that's a strikeout pitch, you can be successful in the bullpen. Keaton Winn to me is the same way. He's got the good fastball, but he's got the good split. I always thought Winn would have a chance to be a better reliever than a starter. I don't know that the Giants feel that way, but just looking at those two guys as well, maybe they can help you in the bullpen this year.
Yeah. Well, and I think you can say that about almost any of the guys that you question if they have a third pitch.
Yeah.
And they only have two. Yeah. I'd almost add Wisenhunt to that category for right now. Now I'm not saying give up on him as a starter and don't continue to work on his fastball and his slider. But, you look at a guy like Wisenhunt and you go, well, if hitters only got to see that changeup one time or, maybe twice in an at bat, would they be able to really do much off him? He could be a super effective lefty out of the pen, and it might pump up his velo a little bit where he's sitting at 95, 96. But I agree, like Tang, I think could be a good bulk guy. I think, even Seymour, I kind of like what I saw a little bit out of him. I think he needs, obviously some more seasoning like a lot of these guys do, but he could be a decent guy out of the pen. There's a lot of growth. I mean, these are all young guys that they could piece it together, and the pitching staff they just brought in super highly regarded. So a lot of these guys are viewed very highly around the league. So interested to see, the jumps that we might hopefully see out of these young players.
All right, Cody, let's check in on a few of our comments. A lot of your people checking in. I like that. Glenn and Cody, great combination. We appreciate that. One of my best followers, Bake That Dough, says, hopefully it's youth. Look out. Well, we'll find out. A lot of people like that idea. A lot of people are concerned about that as well. But, we'll find out. So I saw an interesting one in here. Cody, check this one out. Fun fact, Cody played guitar on that intro song. Is that true?
No, I don't have a musical bone in my body.
All right, so somebody's messing with us here. Come on, man.
That's my co-host, Dan.
All right. Thanks, Dan. You're killing me.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a great story here.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, you're on my bad list, man. Okay, let's check it out. I like to check in our. I first thought it was Stevie Ray Vaughan, but then I thought, no, it's got to be Cody. Okay, now everybody's it's running out of control here. See?
Yeah.
What happens?
You don't want to hear what happens if I play guitar.
See, look, Bake That Dough. That's one of my guys. Cody, here's $2 for 5 minutes of a hotel stay for spring training. There you go.
There you go.
We got to get you down there. I'm telling you.
Tip the valet at least.
Yeah. All right. I'm just looking to see if we got anything else that's good. Some of the people are okay with their ideas here, Cody. So let's move on. So that's the pitching staff thing. And I think it is what it is at this point. I think that's the rotation that's going to start the year if nobody gets hurt. And I think these guys that we're talking about are going to be ready. And the Giants feel good about these young guys, and they hope that somebody or two steps up. Again, I know a lot of people do hope is a bad game plan. I get that, but you have to show some confidence in these young guys, and nobody knows their players better than the organization. I always feel that way too, right? Cody, you know a lot about the minor leagues, but do you know more about the minor leagues than the Giants guy? You know what I'm saying?
I don't have access to the data that a lot of these guys have, especially below AAA.
I think we all agree on this, that the Giants need more from their minor league system, and that minor league system is getting better. We're going to get to the minor league system soon because Cody's on top of that big time. But I think we would all agree the Giants need an outfielder.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's going to be a Bellinger or a Tucker. I don't think it's going to be. I just don't think that's what they're going to do. I'd like to see them get a defensive center fielder that's a right-handed hitter. And I've said this all along. I think Gilbert's a pretty good center fielder. I don't know. Is he a regular player? I don't know. Is he even a platoon player? I don't know. I don't think we saw enough last year. Defensively, I think he's pretty good. We don't know if he's going to hit or not. And I think Jung-Hoo Lee would be a very good right fielder at Oracle Park.
Yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't be surprised at some point if that happens. I think the Giants, I don't know that they want to make that move just yet. But Jung-Hoo Lee and right, you improve your center field defense. I wouldn't mind seeing that happen because I just don't think it's going to be a Tucker or a Bellinger thing.
Yeah.
I just don't see that happening.
I think that makes a lot of sense from after watching the outfield defense last year. I do wonder who that guy is. I'm not sold on a lot of the guys on the free agent market. I see Harrison Bader's name thrown around a lot, and he would certainly upgrade the defense. But I mean, we question Gilbert's ability to hit, and obviously Bader has some track record at the majors, but he has basically 2 years where he's been a positive with the bat. Most of his career, it's just been the glove carrying his value. So I'm not huge on Bader. And I look around free agency and I don't see that guy really out there. So I think you're going to have to look to trade market, if anything. And they might just get forced into Gilbert being out there every day this year if they can't find much and just hope the bat plays enough. I mean, the glove he's clearly their best defensive outfielder right now. That's likely to be on the major league roster.
I think he's a big league center fielder defensively. I do.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's going to hit or not. And listen, you got to hit a little bit, right? You can't be an OUT. You just can't be an out.
We already have, when you already have Bailey in the lineup every day or near every day.
Yeah.
And maybe with Hunter Mentz there, they get more out of his bat. But when you already have him in the lineup, it's really hard to take a second position player and just basically throw another out away. Yeah, you can kind of live with one if you have a good lineup around him, but
you're absolutely right. And the Giants, listen, the first half of the year, Fitzgerald really, really struggled. He couldn't get anything going, and Bailey really struggled. And I mean, and there was a month in there too where Jung-Hoo Lee was an OUT, right? And so you have to do everything you can to eliminate that. I think too, another theory of mine, Cody, is I think the Giants feel like they can get improvement internally from individual players. I do. I think they look at Elliot Ramos. He's a very talented young kid, right? Not good defensively last year. I think they feel like they can get him to another level, both offensively and defensively. And I think they feel that way about Jung-Hoo Lee as well. Now, again, this is kind of falls into the we love our young pitchers thing, right? Is it a hope thing? I don't know. But I do. I think they feel like they can get this coaching staff and just where these players are at in their careers, that there is more there. And that's going to be improvement coming from within, both offensively and defensively for those two players.
Yeah. And, to expand on that, well, actually, I'll focus on those two first. I agree. I think Lee, I think the adjustment going from playing entirely indoors in Korea to playing outside in San Francisco, where it's probably one of the windier yards in the country, other than maybe like Chicago. It's one of the windier parks he's going to play. And I think that adjustment's been a little bigger. And then losing the majority of his rookie season probably did not help matters at all with Lee. And I've seen a few people mention in there kind of hesitancy as he's gotten to the wall last season, maybe, which it's fair. He separated his shoulder. He suffered a major injury on it. So I could see him being a little gun shy. I think you'd hope you get more out of him there. To your point earlier, him being if he went to right, I agree. He his movement out there almost reminds me a little bit of Randy Wynn.
Yeah,
And his body
I think he
type.
would be really good. I do.
He's
I mean, it's not an easy place to play out there, but
yeah.
I could see that, unless they went out and got a big hitting right fielder, but I could see at some point, and maybe it won't be next year, but who knows what's going to happen. But he's a good athlete, right? He's a good athlete. And I thought there were times where, he looked pretty good out there. And then there were other times not really. And the sabermetrics did not shine brightly on him defensively. But to me, there has to be, I just think there's more there for him as a player.
Yeah. And I think he's a plus athlete, and he's got a plus arm, and it's a very accurate arm. Yeah. So I could see that being a bit of a weapon. And right, it's not a cannon like some of the, he's not a Cunha or anything like that out there, but he's got a plus arm, and I think he could be really good if he learns that right field wall and everything. And if you could get a better defender, you're really strengthening two spots. And then to Ramos's point, he actually in the corners, if you looked at his numbers between right field and left field in 2024, and this was a 51 game sample size, I believe, which is, about a third of the season. He was like 4 outs above average and a couple defensive runs saved. And then last year happened. So I do believe there is a good defender somewhere in there. You don't accidentally be a, pretty decently above average defender for a third of the season.
I think the Giants feel the same way. I mean, this is a pretty good athlete.
Yeah.
And to me, some of the mistakes that were made, and I watched every game just like you did.
Yeah.
They were almost like concentration mistakes where he just wasn't concentrating. And I think he admitted that a little bit at the end of the year. But if you have a kid like Ramos who he plays hard, he wants to be good. He's not lazy. Plays every day, plays hard every day. Now, that's all fine and good, but when he's misreading fly balls, that's hurting the team. But he wants to be a good defender. That alone is a good start. Now, if you get him with the right people and he's willing to work hard, because he's not a 35-year-old guy who doesn't really care. He really knows he's got to get better, and he wants to get better, and he wants to be a really, really good all-around player. That to me tells me that this could work, and he could improve himself significantly defensively. Because like you said, he wasn't bad in 2024. But whatever happened last year, I don't know, but he's aware of it.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal to me.
I don't know if you had heard Haynes was on a different podcast today or yesterday. He mentioned that Ramos is currently at Papago right now working on him, and Bryce is also there, but they're working on defense.
Yeah.
So, he's working hard, and nobody's ever, I think, accused Ramos of not having that work ethic. At least.
No, absolutely not.
Definitely mental.
To get after it. And that to me, I think that's a little bit part of this whole thing too, where it may not be what the fans want to hear, but the Giants, I mean, listen, you got to go with what you feel. And I think they see two young outfielders that are very talented players. They just need to keep growing and keep getting better. Now, that doesn't solve the whole outfield problem because they do still need somebody out there. And, I think at some point they'll do something here, but, who knows what? I don't know.
Yeah. And
I know there's the kid in Houston who I saw some, his name gets away from now. Is it Myers?
Yeah, I can't think of his first name, but Myers, he's a really good defender.
He's a good defender, right-handed hitter, I know his name is out there. I'm just looking it up. But yeah, I mean, it's somebody like that where, he's not going to wow you offensively, but good defender. That's a big deal. I mean, if that's what you want. And I think the defensive thing, it is an area that needs to get better. And I think that Giants feel like they can do this internally. Which again, not everybody may agree with that, but I get it. I get what they're trying to do. as opposed to rushing out and saying we got to spend 300 million. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's not
to
forget,
that
Cody.
point,
Let's not forget that the New York Mets won 89 games in 2024, and they played in the National League Championship Series, if my mind is correct.
Yep.
Then they signed Juan Soto to a $765 million contract, and they won 83 games in 2025.
Yeah.
Now, I know I'm cherry picking here on a good story, but opening up the wallet is not always the best answer.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
And they had a bigger collapse than the Giants did last year.
Yeah. I mean, but again, I'm just picking that team, and I get, it's the big contract and all that, but there's other ways to go about this than to just drop 300 million on this. And I just, and again, the Amai thing, the Japanese pitchers, to me, is a perfect example, Cody. If the Giants would have went all in on this kid and given him what everybody was guessing right when he came out, he would have got $150 million for 6 years.
Yeah. And that clearly was not his market.
Right. And then all of a sudden you start hearing, well, teams who have scouted him, and everybody scouted him, right? Everybody, every team saw him. Now, all of a sudden we're hearing most of the teams are thinking, I don't think he's a number 2 starter. I think he's probably a 4 or a 5. Nothing against the kid. I hope he is a number 2 starter. But the point is if the Giants would have jumped the gun right away and done what a lot of people wanted them to do, they would have spent $150 million. He ends up getting, 60 or whatever on what is a bad contract for the Houston Astros because of the opt-outs.
Oh, and I 100% agree. It is a horrible contract. I know a lot of people are going to look at the AAV and they're going to go, "Oh, what are you talking about? It's not that bad." If the reality is what the first year is for Amai is essentially it's a 1-year, $30 million deal because it can, if he hits any kind of, escalators, I think they said it could be about 21 mil. Yeah. And people forget the posting fee is based on the entirety of the deal. It does not matter if he takes the opt out or not. You're paying the whole thing.
You're writing a check. You're writing a check the next day. Here you go. Boom.
So
and it was over $9 million.
Yeah. So the first year's a $30 million contract, and and the thought process for me is, okay, is he going to be a $30 million pitcher in year 1? Probably not. But it doesn't mean you're not going to still lose him after year 1. So you're basically paying $30 million for year 1. And all from a Mai's perspective, all he has to do is prove he's better than an $18 million pitcher, and he'll opt out and go re-sign with or sign somewhere else or get a new contract. So I hate that contract. I don't believe in giving those out. I totally understand why the Giants didn't. I especially don't like it for qualifying offer players. Obviously he was not, but there's the posting fee instead. But yeah, I was not a fan of the deal that he ultimately got. If they could have gotten him on a 4 or 5 year straight, no opt-outs, whatever that number is. I mean, I really liked him from what I saw. I liked his stuff. I thought it was pretty unique, and with the right pitching coach, he could be that number 2, but it's a projection. It's just like the young guys. It's a projection. So I just want to slip one thing in there to your earlier point about the internal improvements that they're hoping to get. I think we all have to remember, and this is just from the position player side right now of who's projected to be in the lineup. 6 of the 9 players are going to be between 21 and 27 years old. There is absolutely a reason to believe they can get more out of those guys. Especially with these new hitting coaches.
And listen, we've said a lot here about, that's wishful thinking, but maybe it's closer to reality than people want to think. You got young players. They want to get better. They're good players and they work hard. Giants have a good group. They grind, right?
Yeah. It may work. It might not, but we'll find out. But there's a reason to believe it. So I get it. I definitely get it from their perspective, looking at the youth, the age. They're getting a really highly touted hitting coach coming in. They're getting guys like Ron Washington are going to be here that hopefully can solve a lot of the base running issues that we saw last year. There's a lot of reasons to think they can squeeze more out of what they have.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the minor league system. This is where Cody is at his best. He knows the Giants minor league system extremely well. So I'm going to I want to start with the pitching, and I'm going to throw names out there, and I just want you to tell me what you think and ultimately where you feel like this organization is at in the minors, starting with pitching. I want to ask you about Bresnahan. Jacob Bresnahan, I believe he was the California League Pitcher of the Year, right?
Yes. He was the Giants. I think they gave him, I don't know if it was Baseball America or MLB Pipeline. They made him their pitcher of the year for the Giants.
So
system.
he's 20 years old. He's a lefty. Giants got him in a trade. San Jose all year. So that's low A. So he's still a young guy. Is his stuff set up to be a fast mover through the system?
I think the stuff, yes. The command is going to be where it separates. If he's going to just rocket through, or if it's going to be kind of a slow moving, step-by-step process for him. What I saw last year out of him, I mean, he completely dominated. I made a note the other day in a post where his first 3 starts, he gave up 10 earned runs. His last 19, I think he gave up 17 earned runs. I mean, he just completely dominated. There were like 9 starts where he went at least 5 innings, gave up no runs. Just really good power lefty. He's 19. He settles in a lot around 94, 95. He humped it up to 97, I think, a few times. We talked to him on the show couple months ago. I think he said he would love to see that hit triple digits at some point, but I think he understands like he's got to be able to sustain it deep into games. The changeup really made big strides once he got to San Francisco. They did a lot of work on his changeup. That looked really good last season. The slider, it's a good shape. Again, it's mostly command. He talked to us about this too. He wants to be able to land it both for strikes and better chase pitches with that. And if he can do that, I think he can be kind of a front end guy. But it's how fast he moves is just going to be probably come down to the command, because I think the stuff is there. And he's a big guy. He's, I think, 6'4". So he gets big extension, kind of gets on you.
Yeah. So from what I understand and from what I've read, the low minors, there's some very, very interesting young arms. In fact, I think I told you this when you were on with me at the end of the year, but Kyle Haynes said that in the Arizona Complex League, that a lot of the scouts would say to him, "Hey, what time is your game? Because I like coming to your games because I love watching your young pitchers." And I know they had 4 or 5 of them and a couple of them ended up in San Jose, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But am I accurate in saying that the excitement for the Giants is probably for their pitchers is probably some really good youngsters in the lower minors who we may see in San Jose or we may see in the Arizona Complex League this summer? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think the very high end projectable upside guys that could be like nationally ranked prospects.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys are down in San Jose, and in Bresnahan's case, I would project him to probably be in Eugene next season.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So San Jose could have a fun, and I know a couple of those guys got to San Jose last year. So San Jose, who had an unbelievable year, they could be loaded up again next year.
Yeah, I would expect them to, especially with some of the draft picks will probably be there, especially the younger guys, the high schoolers that they took. Those guys will be there. I would expect at least Argenis Kayama and Keener Martinez to start there. Those two are really highly touted. Luis De La Torre, he's 20. I think he'll be 21. There's a chance they might bump him to Eugene, although he only got limited innings in San Jose last year, but we'll kind of see on that one. But yeah, and then in the Complex League, it's funny, the Doval trade, they got, a lot of attention went to guys like Jesus Rodriguez, and then Parks Harbor earned a lot of that attention with both his performance in Eugene and the Fall League. But a lot of scouts came out and said they think that the jewel of that package the Giants got back might be Carlos De La Rosa, who's he's the lefty that was in the Dominican League, I think,
Yeah.
last year. He'll probably be in Arizona next season.
Wow.
So you might see him in San Jose at some point in the tail end of the year.
Okay. So let's move to the outfielders. And listen, Luis Matos, who knows? I'd be very surprised if he's in a Giants uniform next year. I like the kid. I think there's a lot of talent there, but I don't know. I don't know. I never felt like Cody, like he had one part of his game that was well above average that you could really build on. And that's not a criticism, right? Because, he's got some tools, but was there one thing that he did exceptionally well or does exceptionally well? And I know it sounds like I'm ripping the kid. I'm not. That's just what I saw of him as a player.
Yeah, I think the one thing he does do exceptionally well is just put the bat on the ball. Now, whether or not he kind of got caught in the launch angle trying to pull the ball, and that to me should not have been his game.
Yeah.
When I see him, I see like he should be modeling his game after guys like Scudero and Freddie Sanchez as far as like the batted ball profile goes. A lot of line drives all over the field. That should be his game. And and it's funny because he's a plus athlete. So you'd think he could steal a few more bags, be a little bit better defensively. But to this point, he hasn't been. Now, could he develop that? Possibly. I think he's probably better suited for an organization where he's going to get some runway and they have better defenders next to him. I think that's part of the issue is you put him in this outfield right now with two guys that graded out poorly. And it's just, you can't like hide him. If you had a good center fielder and a good right fielder, you might be able to just kind of hide him in left field and see if his offense develops. But
interesting player. I just you pull for the kid, and whatever happens to him, I hope he puts it all together. But it's probably not going to be with the Giants. I know we talked about Bo Davidson, who got all the way to Double-A. How close is he? I mean, and is this an everyday guy or is this a fourth outfielder?
I think he can be an everyday guy. I still have that belief. We'll see. He hit Double-A. That is usually where it separates a lot of guys for sure in the Giants system because the Eastern League is just brutal to play in. But he showed up there. He was a better than league average hitter in Double-A in his small-ish sample size. I think he got close to 200 at bats at least. So we'll see. But I think he can play all three of the positions. They still like him as a center fielder.
Yeah.
Maybe he ends up needing to go over to right field, which really isn't an insult in Oracle Park. I mean, that's basically another center fielder over there. But I think he has that 2020 potential. He's a insanely good athlete. Big time raw power and speed, really solid glove, solid arm. The bat to ball, I haven't seen any issues, but it's definitely not, it's not elite. He's not going to, he's going to have his strikeouts. I think he kept it down into the low 20s, 20% range last year, which is very reasonable. As long as we don't see that balloon, we'll probably feel pretty good about him. I don't see any like massive holes in his swing or anything though.
Cody, you could be talking about Dakota Jordan as well. Because it sounds like he has a lot. I mean, he's that specimen. Looks like it was a football player. He was pretty special in San Jose. Now, San Jose is a long way from the big leagues, but this kid's got a ton of tools, and he has the look. Gosh, could he get to Double-A this year? I mean, is that crazy? I mean, he was in San Jose all last year, and I think he was hurt at the end, right?
Yeah, I think I saw an oblique injury, so that's why I kind of wiped it out. He came back, tried to play through it, then went back on the IL pretty quickly. I mean, it's funny. You look at obviously Dakota's right-handed, Bo Davidson's left-handed, but other than that, you look at their styles a little bit and very similar, big explosive tools. I think Dakota probably has a little bit more questions as far as the bat to ball goes and part of that's because Bo just has proven it at higher levels more than Dakota has. But Dakota, the one thing I want to give him a lot of credit for is he went from college to to low A, and I get it. A lot of people will say what they want about the age and the level there, but it is still a step up in competition.
Mhm.
And he actually improved his whiff rates and his strikeout rates and all those things. So it wasn't as bad as people were expecting. A lot of draft, scout experts, analysts, whatever, they've kind of acknowledged that with him. So it'll be interesting. He's going to go to Eugene, I'd imagine. And if he either improves on it or kind of sustains that lower K and whiff compared to what people thought, those explosive tools have a chance to really play.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the what I am being told, the real exciting part, and that's the infielder, especially in the lower minor leagues, but maybe not low, but tell me about First Parks Harbor, because this is the kid, and you mentioned his name earlier, they got from the Yankees, and he's not in low minor leagues anymore. I mean, he's moving, but he's also 24 years old. So he's not necessarily a 21-year-old. So maybe it's time for him to make the move. And it sounds like he's starting to do that. But he's also a third baseman, first baseman, from what I understand. Is there enough athletic ability to play him in left field, or what do you think about that?
Yeah, and I've seen a few people suggest this. I mean, I would be handing him a outfield mitt and sending him out there this season and seeing if he could develop, because that realistically, that's where the potential need is going to be up at the major league level.
Yeah,
Um, Third base and first base are pretty well locked down right now
yeah,
on the big league club, barring, injuries. So I think he has that athletic ability, but we've seen it with some guys where some guys can do it, some can't.
and
But
he's a big, strong kid, right?
yeah, I mean, he's a big guy, he's 6'3",
Yeah,
220 something pounds. So
yeah,
he's a big guy, but I would still be chucking him out there and seeing what happens. I mean,
yeah.
he's probably going to be in Double A to start the year.
Okay,
He has time to learn the positions. So that's what I would be doing for sure.
yeah. You think? I wonder if he'll be in spring training. You think?
They did it with Ceballos last year where he got
Yeah,
a pretty good, he got some run just to kind
yeah.
of
I'd like to see him. I've never seen him. I've seen
you
highlights of him.
could.
I'd like to see him. I wouldn't be surprised if he's there. Now, lower level infielders, potential high end big leaguers. Accurate?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a few guys there that I don't like to throw around the word superstar potential, but
Yeah.
there's like one in particular that I would say superstar potential, and then a couple that have really a chance to be really good players. I mean,
Uh,
that's kind of a strength in their system when you look between Keelan, Level, and Joshua Gonzalez, and
yeah.
in 6 days potentially Luis Hernandez gets added to that mix.
Yeah.
So
So the Gonzalez kid, everything I've read about him, he's 18 years old, switch hitter. Probably see him maybe in San Jose, but 18, switch hitter. And this is the guy you're talking about that a lot of people say he's got star written all over him.
yeah, I mean, he is twitchy. That's, they came out, a lot of people saw him last year. I think they gave him a 70 grade glove.
Huh,
They view him as a gold glover at short, potentially.
huh,
Really big arm, elite speed. I mean, you look at him just from the athletic standpoint, the defense and the speed at short, it's
yeah,
high end.
yeah,
The bat, he's got some pretty good raw power in the bat. As a 17-year-old last year, I think he produced 109, 110 mile per hour exit velocities in the Dominican a few times. He had a game where he hit an inside the park home run and then went opposite field home run, I think, his next at bat. Um, it's explosive. It'll come down to, as it does with a lot of guys, does he hit as he advances through the levels? If he does hit, I think you're looking at a guy that could be a leadoff hitter, just table setter, elite
yeah.
table setter, gold glove defender. I mean, that to me that's got a superstar potential
Because
right
there's
there.
another 18-year-old who got to San Jose, Johnny Level. He's
Mhm.
another middle infielder, another switch hitter, 18 years old. Uh, Not a big guy, but plays up with some power. So here's another
Mhm.
18-year-old switch hitting shortstop. Johnny Level.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like Johnny Level. I like his bat to ball skills. I like how he controls the zone for the most part. He does have some chase to him. I will say he's got a little bit of chase, but overall he still draws about as many walks as he does strikeouts because he just doesn't swing and miss a ton. So
Uh-huh.
I really like his game. I do think he's probably a bit more average-ish defensively at shortstop. You'd probably move him. If you look at these guys and then you say, hey, if they both advance through the system simultaneously, he'd probably get kicked over to second. But really good, switch hitter. I like the bat profile for sure.
Yeah.
And he's got sneaky speed.
Yeah, so these are really young guys, and they could be in San Jose this year. We don't know yet, but it's exciting to think about. Even though, listen, they may be 3-4 years away. Maybe the kid that they drafted number 1 last year, Gavin Killen. I mean, he's 21 years old, so maybe he's not that far away from the big leagues. And we're already anointing him as a big leaguer. But the point is he's a terrific hitter. I know he didn't do much in San Jose after he got drafted, but another middle infielder that may be a little bit closer to the big leagues than these other guys because he played 3-4 years of college.
Yeah, and with his bat, with his profile of he's probably not going to swing and miss. You look at his bat. It kind of reminded me a lot when they drafted him of Joe Panic, just with a little more pop in the bat.
Yeah.
It's kind of the comp I gave was just, hey, Joe Panic with more power.
Sure.
I could see him being a guy that I think he'll still, even regardless of what happened in San Jose, he only played a few games and then he got hurt anyway. So it was super small sample size, but I could see him starting in Eugene. And as we've seen with a lot of these guys, especially guys with that kind of profile, if he shows up to Eugene and he hits, they're going to probably just shove him right up to Double-A. And if he keeps hitting, you've seen these college guys just
absolutely
skyrocket through the systems all across the majors.
Sure.
So I could definitely see him and Cohen, even if those two guys with their bat to ball profiles and they're not viewed as any kind of issues defensively or on the bases, they're going to still need to grow. But I could see those guys, if they show up and they hit from day one, they might just move quick.
Yeah. So let's finish on, and you mentioned this earlier, but we'll finish on what's going to happen, next week? Hopefully, the Giants are said to be the team that is going to sign Luis Hernandez, who's this ridiculously talented 17-year-old from Venezuela. He's a shortstop, number 1 international prospect, right? Yeah. So is this for sure going to happen? I don't want to be rude about this, Cody, and then it doesn't happen, okay? I don't want somebody else stepping in, but it sounds like he's going to be a Giant.
Yeah, I mean, all signs point to that. As we saw with Joshua last year, few teams tried to up that money late, and the Giants ended up having to trade guys like Sable, and they made one other trade. I can't think of who it was, but to get a little more international money.
Yeah.
The good news for the Giants is they don't really have any other big name guys are trying to sign. Last year, they had 2 other guys they were given $1 million to.
Yeah.
This year, they don't. So I'm hearing, Luis is going to get like a $5 million bonus to sign. So there's always a possibility. You don't hear about it, all the time where guys back out of the deals and sign elsewhere, but it does happen occasionally. Yeah. So I'm just going to hold my breath till they get the name on the dotted line. But
he's special, huh? I mean, everybody says he's special.
I would say his profile in the batter's box is special as a prospect. He was 16 years old playing at 15 and 16 years old playing in the Venezuelan pro league with former big leaguers, former minor leaguers, guys that are 10 years older than them. And he was hitting 300, 340 in that league. He is very advanced in the box. Now we'll see how it translates, but plus athlete, I think a lot of people believe he can stick it short, but he's got a bigger frame than a guy like Joshua. So maybe he outgrows that. And especially if again, we're projecting way down the line, especially if you have Joshua at short, you might end up bumping him to third down the road. But I mean, the bat has the potential to be pretty special.
So what's the signing date? Is it the 15th or?
Yeah, I believe it's January 15th.
So that's Thursday. So that'll be a big day for the Giants if they can do this. So
Yeah.
you think about that. I mean, that's exciting, right? I mean, I know these kids are a long ways away, but and then the fact that the Giants will get the 4th pick in the draft, I think that's a really big deal. So I would say, Cody, and you would know better than I, but this minor league system has really, really made huge strides in the last 2 or 3 years. Where are they at, as far as against other minor league systems? I don't know. But at least there's things that are close to the big leagues. And then there's a lot of excitement for the real young kids too, because what you just want to keep flows of players coming, right? Just keep them coming. And the Giants are not quite there yet, but they're getting close to having that. And listen, they need that. They need that. This organization, they have not gotten enough from their minor league system in the last 5 or 6 years. And I think it has to change. And if it does, and it looks like it is, I think that's going to be a real plus for this organization.
Yeah, I agree. And, I hate saying like, hey, just wait 2 more years.
You can't do
I
that.
always hate saying that, but in the past 2-3 years ago, I did not have this kind of hope with the Giant system. It was just a bad system top to bottom with a couple, names sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
Last year at the beginning of the year, I felt like, okay, this is a deeper system.
Yeah.
Now we're starting to see a lot of the top end guys, and they haven't, some of them guys like Bresnahan, they haven't quite gotten the national attention yet, but I think they will this season. And I think they're probably middle of the pack. I think Baseball America had him 16th. I think that's pretty fair. They took a big jump last season, and I think they have a potential to be a top 10 system by about the end of the year, especially when you're talking getting the 4th pick, hopefully getting Luis Hernandez. I think they have a chance to add some really, blue chip prospects at that point, and they'll be a pretty good system. And then when I say, wait 2 years, I do think in about 2 years is when you're going to start seeing that constant influx of talent showing up every year. I think that's about the timeline where you might start seeing guys like Bo and some of these pitchers and and Keelan and the shortstops are going to be moving through these young guys are going to be moving up through the system. I think that's the kind of the timeline before we start seeing just this flow of talent.
Sure. All right. Cody, great job as always. And thanks for doing the collab with me. I hope your viewers enjoyed it. I know my viewers enjoy it. And it's always fun to talk Giants baseball. And it's always fun to head into the minor league system too, because I know there are some good things going on down there, but we need a couple of those starting pitchers, Cody, to step up and say, I want a piece of that rotation. I think that would be that's the thing I'm going to watch for the most this year, I think, is how's the rotation doing? How's the depth doing? And if any of these young guys get their opportunity, they need to grab it, because there will be an opportunity or two there.
Yeah, I mean, between the young pitchers and, it's a lot to put on a 21-year-old shoulders, but between the young pitchers and Bryce Eldridge, nobody can change the outlook of 2026 for Giants fans quicker.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. We just spent an hour. We didn't even
talk about him.
Eldridge. We'll see. That'll be fun to watch too. I don't know if he's going to be a big leaguer this year, or who knows. But maybe that's a good thing that we had enough other people to talk about. We didn't even talk about Bryson. Cody, nice job, buddy. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. And maybe let's do it again. Maybe right before the season, when I get back from spring training, and then I'm going to tell you how great it was.
Yeah.
How much you missed. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. You're gonna give me FOMO while you're over there.
All right, Cody. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Let's talk soon, okay?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Glenn.
All right, Cody Ballou. He is the host of the Even Year Dynasty podcast. It's good stuff. He does a great job. He's got a co-host, and they have a lot of fun together, and they do a great job covering the Giants. And they're not just firing out crazy stuff. They do their homework, and they do a great job with the Giants minor league system. I mean, they know what's going on. That's why I like having Cody on, because I want to know about the Giants minor league system too, and they are very, very good on that. So hope you enjoyed the show. Next week, actually, I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm going to be gone next week. I'm going to be down in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm going to be at Scottsdale Stadium the whole week for the Giants Fantasy Camp. I am the commissioner of the Giants Fantasy Camp. I have major responsibilities in the next week. So it'll be fun. All a bunch 65 Giants fans, all different ages, all playing baseball, 2 games a day, all week. It's a treat, folks. If you ever get a chance to go to Giants Fantasy Camp, you got to do it. You got to pay it. You got to do it. You and a buddy go. I have brothers and sisters go together. I've had moms and dads go together. It's great. It's super fun. And so if you ever get a chance, try it out, Giants Fantasy Camp. But that's where I'll be starting tomorrow. I'll be down there tomorrow until next Friday. And looking forward to it very much. So I'll try to squeeze a show in from down there if I can. But we got a lot to talk about. So spring training is just 5 weeks away. 5 weeks from right now, we'll be talking about the full squad workout. And that means baseball is right around the corner. So I appreciate you joining me tonight. Hope you enjoyed our chat with Cody. And hope you enjoyed all of our Giants talk tonight. And remember, hit the subscribe button. And we appreciate all the viewers from Cody's show and my show as well. That'll do it, folks. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. And remember, we have to check in with our sponsor, starting with Tilden Properties. By investing in California's multifamily real estate with Tilden Properties, you're going to get quarterly dividends and equity buildup in the real estate market. As an investor, isn't that exactly what you want? That's what Tilden Properties will do for you if you become one of their investors. Go to their website at tildenproperties.com and look at their portfolio, or give them a call at 925-209-8558. Glen Kuiper Show is also brought to you by our good friends at Partners Capital, LLC. It's a wealth management firm providing financial strategies for elite financial performance and lasting peace of mind. Partners Capital delivers thoughtful planning. Partners Capital, your partner for a stronger financial future. Isn't that what we all want? Yes, indeed. And last but certainly not least, the good people from the Caring Real Estate Team. Whether you're in the market to buy a new home or sell your existing home, the Caring Real Estate Team will guide you home. They're great people. I've worked with them, and they've been working with my family, many different transactions. Good, solid people, a good, solid company. In fact, you can contact Mike Carrick today for a free home sale or purchase consultation. Call Mike at 925-548-4132. So that is it. Thanks to the sponsors. We appreciate it. Thanks to my guest, Cody Ballou, and thanks to you for watching this Friday night edition of the Glen Kuiper Show. Have a good one, everybody.